All right, I think we're going to get started. Welcome. Thank you all for coming. My name's Lenora, Lapidus, and I'm the director of the Women's Rights Project at the American Civil Liberties Union. We're so happy to see all of you here. This is a great turnout, and we really appreciate it. Before we get started, I wanted to make just a couple announcements. First of all, we have a sign-in sheet in the back, and I think it's also going to be circulated around. So please sign in and note if we can list your organization as a supporting organization of CEDAW. There's also a lot of information and materials on the table in the back, so help yourself to those. We are videotaping and photographing the event, so we wanted to let everybody know that. And I also wanted to announce that on Thursday, here in the same building on the 10th floor, we are co-sponsoring another event. It's a film screening and a discussion entitled Revaluing Women's Work, Ending the Exploitation and Abuse of Domestic Workers. And we're going to be screening film behind closed doors, and then that will be followed by a panel discussion with filmmakers as well as domestic workers and advocates involved in the movement for domestic workers' rights. So we hope many of you can join us then as well on Thursday evening, and there are flyers in the back. So I wanted to get started. We have a very exciting panel here today. I'm going to talk just a little bit about the organizing effort to get CEDAW ratified here in the U.S., and then turn it over to our distinguished speakers. I'm sure many of you have been working on CEDAW for a while, but I will just give a little bit of background. CEDAW now has been ratified by 186 countries. The U.S. is the only industrialized democracy in the world, and only one of 7 countries that has not yet ratified CEDAW. We stand with the other countries, Iran, Nauru, Palau, Somalia, Sudan, and Tonga. So it is time for the U.S. to get on board and ratify CEDAW. It's been 30 years since the convention was drafted, and the U.S. played an important role in helping draft the treaty, and now it's time that the U.S. finally ratify. We have been building on many years of advocacy by the CEDAW Working Group. This year, the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights formed the CEDAW Task Force. And the task force is co-chaired by the ACLU, the National Women's Law Center, Citizens for Global Solutions, and the YWCA USA. And through the task force, we now have a much more systematic, multifaceted effort to bring together a wide range of organizations to support ratification. The effort has really gotten underway in the past couple months, and we're in full force and moving forward as quickly as we can. We've begun meetings with the Senate Foreign Relations Committee staff, as well as folks at the State Department, and we've begun mobilizing grassroots support. All of this is with the goal of getting the treaty ratified this year, and that is before the upcoming midterm elections. So we don't have a lot of time. We do have support from the President and Vice President and Secretary of State, and we believe this is the best shot that we've had in 30 years and that we need to take it. But time is short and we have a lot of work to do. In order to actually get CEDAW ratified this year, we would need to have a hearing in the early summer and have the Senate Foreign Relations Committee report the treaty out by July. So that is very little time. We will need 67 votes, and we need bipartisan support. But history has shown that women's rights legislation often does get enacted in election years, and we are pushing CEDAW as vote for CEDAW as a vote for women, oppose CEDAW, and that is a vote against women. And if we can continue to frame it as the important women's rights piece of legislation now, then that will be our major push. So again, we hope that many of you will join us in this effort. We need broad support across the country. We need more organizations to sign on. And as we continue to build this movement, we will continue to advance. So we already have an impressive list of supporting organizations, but I do hope that more of you will sign on. One of the people in the Obama administration who has been pivotal in this effort and whose commitment and enthusiasm is leading the way forward has been Milan Verveer, the Ambassador at Large for Global Women's Issues. And we're lucky to have with us today Karen Richardson, who is Senior Advisor in the Office of Global Women's Issues, here to speak with us and get us started in this discussion. So Karen, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay. All right, does it work? Can everyone hear me?
Nope.
Okay. May not be on.
You have to press that mute button. You did see.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karen Richardson. I'd like to thank Lenora for organizing this wonderful panel. Thanks to all of you for coming. And I just want to say, what a great opportunity this is to be discussing this landmark treaty, and really to sort of be here on behalf of the United States to say that we are absolutely committed to the ratification of CEDAW. As many of you know, the President obviously has appointed Milan Verveer to oversee the Office of Global Women's Issues, as well as creating a White House Council on Women and Girls. The Executive Director, who is Valerie Jarrett, and also Tina Chen, who is also... oh, is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, through Ambassador Verveer's efforts and through Secretary Clinton's efforts, of course, and Ambassador Rice, and Ambassador Verveer and the White House, we are working very hard to press the administration and our friends over in the Hill, just to stress that this is a priority for us, and just realizing, that there are challenges that remain in terms of making sure that we have votes. But nonetheless, we are here, and we are doing everything that we can to make sure that that everyone knows that that we are working with you guys, we are working with the Hill, and that we are trying to do everything that we can to make sure that it's clear that the administration does support ratifying this treaty. I'm looking forward to having a discussion about how to further advance this, just in view of the fact that we are on board and we are just as dedicated and committed to ratifying the treaty. So very much thanks again for having me here, and I'm very much looking forward to a very successful discussion. So thank you.